The interspecies behavioral psychology course was mandatory for all diplomats. Professor Zentar designed the curriculum to prepare students for unpredictable situations across the galaxy. Today's lesson: predator recognition and threat assessment. Live specimens, Zentar announced, provide the most accurate data. The lecture hall, filled with 70 students from 40 different species, erupted in nervous murmurs. Two handlers entered through the side door, carrying a reinforced containment unit. Inside were 3 Valkyrie cubs, infant versions of the apex predators from the ice moon of Velkar Prime. Even as cubs, they were formidable. Each was the size of a house cat, covered in silver-blue fur with developing spines along their backs. Their eyes glowed amber with predatory intelligence far beyond their age. Valkyrie were known for their aggression, territorial behavior, and the fact that they bonded with nothing except their own pack. Why release them, Zentar explained. Observe your instinctive reactions. Fear responses vary by species. This data will... The containment unit opened. The cubs tumbled out, immediately assessing the room with unsettling focus. Students in the front rows pushed back in their seats. A Dracian cadet activated his personal shield. The Vrelian delegation clustered together, their scales shifting to defensive coloration. The cubs ignored all of them. Instead, all 3 moved with singular purpose toward the back corner of the lecture hall, where Lieutenant Ryan O'Connor sat alone, taking notes on his datapad. The human hadn't even looked up when the cubs were released. Fascinating, Zentar whispered, activating his recording equipment. The human shows no fear response. His pheromones should. The first cub reached Ryan and chirped, a high-pitched sound that Valkyrie young used to signal their mother. Ryan glanced down, blinked once, and went back to his notes. The cub chirped again, more insistently. Ryan sighed, set down his datapad, and reached down. The cub immediately climbed up his arm, settled into his lap, and began purring, a sound Valkyrie specialists insisted the species couldn't produce. The second and third cubs followed within seconds. Within 2 minutes, all 3 apex predator cubs were curled in Ryan's lap, eyes closed, purring in contentment. The human absently petted one while trying to continue his notes with his free hand. The lecture hall was completely silent. "This is impossible," Zentar breathed. Valkyrie cubs only respond to pack members. They've never shown affection to other species. The bonding pheromones shouldn't even... Lieutenant O'Connor, what did you do? Ryan looked up, confused. Nothing, sir. They just climbed up. But you must have done something. Applied a pheromone attractant? Used a neural dampener? No, sir. Ryan scratched behind one cub's ear. It stretched and purred louder. I grew up on a farm. Had lots of barn cats. These guys just remind me of them. A Corthan student raised a trembling appendage. You're saying you treat apex predators like agricultural pest control animals? I mean, they're babies, Ryan said, as if this explained everything. Babies like to be held. It's pretty universal. It was not, in fact, universal. Every species in the room had extensive protocols for handling their young. Complex rituals, specific pheromone signatures, precise environmental conditions. The idea that an alien species could simply hold them was unprecedented. One of the cubs woke up, yawned showing developing fangs, then burrowed deeper into Ryan's jacket. Professor Zentar canceled the rest of the lecture. Instead, he spent 3 hours documenting the phenomenon while Ryan sat patiently, cubs sleeping soundly in his arms. The handlers eventually had to physically remove the cubs, which resulted in mournful crying until Ryan promised to visit them later. The incident report that reached the Galactic Diplomatic Corps was 17 pages long. The conclusion was simple. Humans possessed an inexplicable ability to calm and comfort species that should, by all biological logic, view them as either prey or threat. The recommendation was even simpler. When diplomatic negotiations fail, send a human to hold the babies. Ryan didn't understand what the fuss was about. They're just scared little guys in a strange place, he explained to his roommate that night. Everyone needs a friend when they're scared. His roommate, a Vrelian diplomat in training, looked at him with a mixture of awe and horror. You do realize those little guys will grow to over 400 kilograms and can tear through starship hull plating? Ryan shrugged. Yeah, but right now they're babies, and they needed a nap. The galaxy was still trying to understand whether humanity's greatest diplomatic asset was their empathy or their alarming inability to recognize danger. Possibly both. That Re-Triclawed can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.